Hello, and welcome to the second part of Indie Plus Plays Primetime Adventures with Jason Corley. We have already done part one, so I highly recommend you go and watch that first because it was wonderful and amazing, and you'll have a grand old time. And shame on you if you don't. Anyway. This event will be in accordance with the Indie Plus community standards. So if you'd like to know what those are, please go to indieplus.org. And just to warn in advance, this event is likely to be rated TVMA, thereabouts. Think the general range of Archer or Rick and Morty or sort of Adult Swim cartoons. Nothing too graphic or horrifying, but more adult content. So with all that out of the way, I'm Brendan Conway. And my character for this game is one Detective Christina Quinoa, or Quinoa, depending upon whether you are classy. I actually said Quinoa unintentionally, so that goes for that, yes. So my own character would have punched me in the face there. I am a hotshot detective, more than a little arrogant, more than a little upset when my name is pronounced wrong. And Mark, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Mark Diaz Truman. I'm one of the organizers for Indie Plus, and I am playing Heather Haggis, who is a hot-blooded haggis from across the seas on loan from Scotland Fridge to catch a serial killer who, as you remember, is clearly silhouetted as an egg, but none of us know anything about who the serial killer is. Now I'll pass it over to Jen.
I'm Jenn Martin. I also work with Indie Plus, and I will be playing Dr. Beverly Broccoli, who is a did we say if she's a psychologist or a psychotherapist? I don't think we said.
Psychologist, I think.
Psychologist. Okay, cool. And she's struggling a little bit because not everybody likes broccoli. Everybody knows it's good for them, but maybe they don't like it so much. So yeah, Mick.
That's a great summary of that character that I hadn't thought of before. That's really cool. I'm Jason Corley. I am producing this episode of Food Court, the greatest show on television. I control the budget, and I control the opposition and all of the non-protagonist characters. So it should be fun.
And I am Mick Bradley, and I am playing Detective Dixon Dunk, the old grizzled veteran cop who happens to be a donut.
All right, so when we last left off, we were in the midst of doing one of our episodes, and it was Detective Dunk's spotlight episode. And so we were playing to his issue of he wants to still be an effective officer despite his old age and his impulse of addiction to coffee injections. And I believe it was episode 3. Is that right, Mick? Is that the episode, the spotlight episode? Okay.
That is correct.
So we had done 3 scenes, and as you can see up here on my lower third, there's 5 chips still in the pool ready to be handed out as fan mail. One thing that I did in the previous game that I'm going to change up a little bit for today's game, because we had limited time then, I was spending a bunch of chips in every single conflict. I have a huge budget for this episode because all of you have a big screen presence, but I might spend a little bit less at times this time around, just because we have a little more elbow room in today's episode. In addition, one thing that I noticed in our first 3 scenes was people were asking really big questions. Like in the very first scene, there was a birthday cake bombing at Dunk's surprise birthday party, and the first question is, do we identify who did it? And that's fine. It's perfectly fine. As you saw, the game ticks along pretty well if you ask those big questions. But if you, the player, feel like the pace needs to be a little slower, or maybe you want to build up a bad guy or a situation a little more, you can ask shorter range questions. You could say things like, do we find a clue pointing us to where to go next, or is there a witness that saw the bomb be planted? Things like that can be since you get to pick sort of the breadth of the scene, you have control over the pacing of the plot. I have control over the pacing of the opposition and my spending of chips. Now, we're going to be experimenting with an app to deal out the cards, so hopefully that will work. And we'll go from there. Now, by my notes, the three people that had set scenes so far were Mick. We started with you, then we did, and that was the investigation of the birthday cake explosion. Then we did a scene with Mark where Detective Haggis, gave in to her impulse and bolted off to the sugar quarry to find the culprit. And then Jen, you set a scene where basically the rest of the team had to come down and half rescue Haggis from a cupcake who said that Dunk was responsible for putting his father, Billy Birthday, the mad birthday bomber, away. So that's going to take us to Brendan. I think Brendan, you are going to be last. I think Mick did the first scene, Brendan, because it was his spotlight episode. So
okay. I could have sworn that I picked the investigate the birthday cake and set the goal as.
Maybe you did. I'm not sure. Mick, do you remember?
I just want to make sure Mick gets his choice.
I agree.
I don't know. I thought maybe it was Brendan too.
Okay, well then let's have it be you.
Oh.
Okay, so Mick, there are three things that you're going to set in this scene: the location, who's there, and then the question of the scene. Will it be a plot question or a character question? Remember, the last scene was a plot scene, and you guys captured the cupcake.
Okay. So we're going to be at the tavern after having kneecapped Birthday Junior. I assume we took him off to jail for the evening. So now we're going to sit and talk about it. And okay. I'm hoping pretty much everybody will be there. And okay. But I especially am going to be asking the question: is Heather Haggis out of her frickin' mind? Going off alone like that.
Okay, well, it has to be a plot or a character question.
Let's do it a character question.
If it's a character question, the question is always, does a character give in to their impulse?
Which is what she already did by doing what she did in that scene.
Correct. Okay. But what you might ask is, my recollection is that Quinoa has an impulse of like belittling and like going after someone. Is that right? Am I remembering that right, Brendan?
Yes, it was insult, demean, diminish.
So maybe we could make it a character scene about Quinoa and whether or not Quinoa just like rips on the whole rest of the team or not.
They pay you the big bucks, producer, for a good reason, don't they? That is an excellent idea.
Okay, good. All right, so that sounds good. So maybe, and I always like to kind of throw in an NPC to sort of spark things with the protagonist. So, so is this like a cop bar? Is this like the?
That's what I'm envisioning. Yeah, the
okay.
Probably Irish bar that everybody goes to with the ex-cop bartender and owner.
Okay, and. So maybe it's the bartender is a cup of Irish coffee, and the name of the bar is, I don't know. Let's see, Brendan is suggesting in chat corned beef or the corned beef bar. That may be a little on point. So let's see. What do you guys think?
Let's see if it's an Irish cop bar.
We could play it straight, or we could put in another pun. And remember, I'm bad at puns, so
it's got to be a pun, right?
All right, go for it.
Yeah. So if it's maybe it should be like an Irish revolutionary kind of pun.
Oh, okay.
Like it should be Sunday Bloody Sunday, except it's actually a Sunday, right?
Oh no! Oh no! Bloody Sunday, D-A-E.
Bloody Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
no.
D-A-E.
Yeah.
That's
D-A-E. Oh God. Okay, guys, I'll get it past standards and practices for you.
Can
You don't
get
got to
fan
worry
mail
about that.
for somebody coming up with a name before the scene even starts?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything you do that
Give
you
Heather
want.
Haggis some fan mail.
Okay,
All
there
right,
we go.
cool. Have yourself a fan mail. Okay, so let's see. Turn that over. Okay, awesome. So, all right. So you're in Bloody Sunday, the cop bar, and the bartender will say McGillicuddy is there, and they're a cup of Irish coffee, and they've got like a cloth, and they're kind of cleaning off the bar, and all of you are down at the end, the triumphant team, and so like haggis and broccoli and Dunk, you've been through this 100 times. But maybe haggis and broccoli are still a little, pumped. Quinoa is slightly separate from the rest of the group. Oh yeah, I like that. So in chat, Mick suggests that instead of Bailey should be the first name of McGillicuddy. So yeah, we'll call him Bailey. So Bailey says, "Well, I understand you had quite a caller down there at the quarry tonight."
That's right, we sure did.
Another notch on the old belt there, eh, Doc?
Yeah, the belt's getting real old and has a lot of notches on it. But I gotta tell you, this one's probably I'm gonna have to give props to the kid, Conway.
Yeah. Good old Quinoa, I heard was out there. But what I heard was it was this one here, and he indicates haggis that put it all together, right?
I was down there first. All these three just caught up late.
First on the scene, huh?
Yeah, first on the scene. Got myself right in there, surrounded by pastries, by cakes, which, as you know, are easily taken by surprise. And
they're bad for you. They're bad for you.
You got to be careful. They'll clog up your heart. And for haggis, I'm like 30% heart, so I got to be extra careful around the cake.
Well, that much, huh? Oh, all right.
Varied organs. It's hard to say precisely. And she just launches into this like really, really, really in-depth retelling that's like maybe like 60% accurate, right? Where it's like, ripping the gun away and setting up the crew, and it just gets bigger right away.
Nice. You got a fan mail from Jenn for that description. So this is a good, Brendan. I think this is a good point. Like with this huge build-up, are you going to go off on haggis and the rest of the team? And so we will determine that with the cards. So, and again, remember that as you think about how to play this out, giving into your impulse has to be bad for you. Like it has to have some bad consequence for you. Let's see. So we can work that out as time goes along. We determine if you give in or not. So switching over now to the.
It's nice that it's oriented towards all of us and not just me, right? So it's like.
Oh yeah.
It's going off on everybody, not just the person that's kind of.
Right, and maybe the bad consequence, and we can talk about this when the card's resolved, but the bad consequence might really primarily, like if you guys just kind of blow him off, that's your decision, but maybe Bailey is like, whoa, Quinoa is nuts, I've got to I'll spread the word among other cops, things like that. All right, so let's switch over to the card table here. So I am the producer, and I get one for free. And I'm going to be spending, I'll spend 3 out of my budget here, so please give me a total of 4 cards. Okay. And Brendan, you are on the other side. So my 4 cards are Quinoa gives in to her impulse. And your cards are on the other side. Quinoa does not give in to her impulse. So put your screen presence down, Brendan, just for you on your side.
Yep. Put it down at the bottom. I have 2.
Now, protagonists, you can throw in your cards on either side. or you can elect not to use them if you just want to primarily see how Quinoa handles it on their own. You can also use, and Brendan, if you have traits or anything like that that is relevant, we can put those in as well.
So I think I will spend a fan mail to add a card, and I'm going to add it for Quinoa's side, and I'm going to say that in the story, when it comes to his part, I actually tell it pretty much dead on.
Nice.
I get to that part. I know he's a little upset, so I slow down. And the kid really took her time, getting everything aligned right up, and then crack, just one perfect shot, right? And
Nice.
so I really put some effort into making sure she comes across well in the story.
If you want, I would suggest moving the fan mail far to the right, because fan mail cards are special. Remember, red cards come back to me in budget, and black cards do not.
Cool.
Jenn, Mick, what do you think? Are you going to chip in either side here?
I think I'm going to abstain because my hostage negotiation tactics, I feel like, have been left out of this story, and I might be a little bitter about that. So.
All right, cool. All right, and Mick.
I want to see how my young partner handles this situation and how far she's willing to go.
All right, let's see how it goes.
I want to use one connection. I want to use, because this is a cop bar, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to use Judge Anderson Apple.
Okay.
The judge is there, and the judge knows me well enough to know when the quinoa is about to blow. And so the judge is going to help get me out of there, or help cover for me, right, before this.
Right. Perfect. So maybe Judge Apple is down at the other end of the bar, he had, with a tumbler of something high class,
An apple tea.
What a monstrous thing to drink.
I
all right.
I changed my mind.
You want in?
I'm throwing in cards on the producer's side of this.
All right. Give me 3 for Dunk's screen presence.
Is it just one card for the judge?
Correct. It's just one card. All right. That looks pretty good to me. Let's see how it goes.
All right. So we'll flip the producer cards first.
Yep. All right. We've got 3, and my high card is a queen.
And then we'll flip these.
Oh, wow! Oh, man.
Wow.
3, but the high card is an ace. Okay, so you have to beat the producer in the amount of successes. So you did not beat me, so you do give in to your impulse. But there is a silver lining. And that fan mail that Mark spent leaves the game. Brendan, you... we'll play it out, and when the time comes, you throw in what you believe the silver lining could be, and feel free, everyone else, to collaborate with Brendan to come up with that. So, it's kind of like Broccoli's kind of getting left out of the description, and Haggis is really building it up, and Bailey is feeding into it so much. Bailey is buying everything that Haggis is laying down. And he's like, oh, this is going to be a great story. I'll have to tell the boys when they come in off of third shift. Oh, man, everyone's going to want to know about this. Well, let me give you one more on the house for the triumphant team.
And I just lean back with my glass y'all are lucky that I've been here and, give y'all some tips on how things ought to be done.
All right.
Oh my God! Shut the hell up!
And instantly, my face just crumbles.
Are you sure Haggises aren't full of shit? Cause from where I'm sitting, it sounds a little bit like you're a shit haggis. Look. You are telling the story all about how amazing you were when you charged in there half-cocked, and you were gonna get yourself killed by cupcakes. Okay? If we didn't show up and back you the hell up, you call that good police work?
Yeah.
Everybody's
That's-
like, yeah.
That's basically how we all do it. I mean, we just run around getting in trouble until someone else comes along and bails us out. I thought we were a team,
Oh my
and I just
God.
burst into big haggissy tears. Right?
I thought things would be different when I transferred out of Veggie City.
Nice. Okay, I think it should, first of all, I think it should be Veg Angelus. Just to put that out there. Veg Angelus. Okay, so all right, and Bailey is like shocked at this outburst. The whole by the time Quinoa's done with her like rant, like the whole place, like the music has stopped, like all the other tables are just sort of staring over at her, like you see Bailey has like shined a particular portion of the bar to where it's like rubbed through the varnish.
And in the dead silence, I just keep going, right? I just all the cops in this entire city show no regard for procedure. They show no understanding.
All right, Christina, that's just about enough.
What are you gonna say, Mr. Dunk? What are you gonna lecture me about? That's just not the way things are done. We don't need to follow the rules. Is that how it's gonna be?
You back your team, and you don't shine your own frickin' shoes just to make everybody else look bad.
I'm Quinoa. I don't wear shoes.
Nice. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna sock her in the face.
Oh, all right. So, okay. So there's it ends in like a big brawl. So so Brendan, like something good for either you or the protagonists in general comes as a result of this confrontation. So, what do you think it should be?
Yeah,
You have the high card. So,
I'm trying to think of what that should be.
And other people can throw in on this too. Yeah. And did you catch the fan mail from chat there, Brendan?
No, I did not.
Yes, you got sorry, there was fan mail to Haggis from Jenn, and then I thought there was another one that someone just said.
Yeah, I said fan mail. I didn't type it.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, yes, I think I got it.
I mean, it doesn't. The only thing I can come up with is that I do well in the brawl. That's the only thing that's coming to my mind.
Yeah, that could be good. Like, I don't know. Maybe you in defending yourself, you win, someone's respect, or something along those lines. What do you all think?
Oh, I have a proposal of an idea.
Do it. Hit it.
While this is all going down, a potential benefit to all of the protagonists would be that because Broccoli's keeping her relative cool, at least I assume she is here, she sees something that the rest of us idiots don't see. And that's the shadowy figure who gets up and just sort of slowly walks out of the bar.
Okay. All right, cool. So, all right.
And maybe that's a lead.
I've got it. Okay, so we started on this brawl, and maybe we've got like Dropkick Murphys music playing, and as they always do, and like Broccoli is like she's done. Like she throws her hands up and kind of goes outside, and just as she goes outside, there's like a mysterious figure in a trench coat, and they've got a cell phone, and like as they brush by her, they're saying into the cell phone, "Yeah, the plan's working. They're tearing each other apart in there." And then we get a close up on Broccoli's face as she, reacts to this this knowledge. Is that good, Brendan?
Yeah, that's great. I like
Okay. All right, cool. Great suggestion, Mick. I appreciate that. All righty. So I think I updated my spent pool when we gave out that last fan mail. Did you guys see by any chance? All right, well, we'll just say that I did. All right, so that takes us, that's the first pass through the table. As you can see, I'm about, Brendan is giving some fan mail to Mick for that last suggestion, and I agree. That's a great thing for a little fan mail there. Okay, so as you can see, I am down to I've spent 12, so I'm a little bit less than halfway through my budget. So I can expect, and you all can expect, that we're going to go through the rounds one more time. There will be at least 4 more scenes. As you build up fan mail, I'll be getting more back in the form of budget and such. Whoever's controlling the cards, you can reshuffle those. All right, so that takes us back to the top, which is Brendan. Brendan, you have 3 questions to answer. First, what's the location of the scene? Second, who's there? And third, is it a plot scene or a character scene? What's the question of the scene?
So the only question is for who's there. I want it to be at Dunk's apartment. I want it to be a character scene about his impulse. And who's there? Well, Dunk is there. And who else is there?
It could be just Dunk if you want it, because his impulse is, does he give in to his addiction?
Exactly. Yeah, I kind of feel like that might be just a Dunk scene. Do you have anybody at home, Dunk?
Is there a Mrs. Dunk? Maybe an ex-Dunk.
Probably at least 2 or 3 ex-Dunks, but nobody right now.
Okay. And so the question of the scene is, does Dunk give in to their addiction?
Yes.
And this is an example of a really small scale scene, so that's good to have. So Mick, describe for us what Dunk's apartment looks like. So there's an establishing shot of an apartment building, and then inside is Dunk's apartment, and that's what we see next.
Okay, so you've got your kind of brownstone-looking deal, right? And then decent-looking brownstone, but then the camera kind of pulls in on the brownstone, but then it kind of swings to the right and sort of quickly goes like 3 or 4 buildings down to an old dilapidated shop, and you see somebody flick the lights on upstairs of this like boarded up establishment that used to be a bodega, or I don't know, maybe a donut shop.
A pawn shop.
Pawn shop, yeah.
Right.
And
Last chance pawn shop.
Flick on the lights, and I kind of stumble in through the door, and don't turn on very many lights, just enough for the camera to be able to see me. I head to my freezer.
Yeah, just tell me a little bit about what it looks like, just like kind of a general, when the camera sees your apartment, what's there?
It's run down. It's like what an old, just I don't take care of it, but you might see a few actual bits of cherished memorabilia there, old partners, probably a picture of the 1 or 2 wives that I actually did love.
A couple of different wedding pictures.
Yes. And otherwise just kind of a sad place. Kind of a sad, lonely place that looks like it's from 40 or 50 years in the past in terms of how, the furnishings, and it's like all the shag, maybe not shag carpets, maybe not that bad, but, just kind of old dilapidated place that looks like it got left behind in time.
Nice, cool. So that tells us what it looks like. So Dunk comes in, and like we see him as he comes in. He's just come in from the brawl, so like his sprinkles are kind of awry, and he moves really like in the brawl he was like in there, but now it's like he's really feeling it. Like his arm is hurt, maybe he's limping a little bit. Like he looks in a mirror and we can see like there's discolorations where the dough is pressed in here and there, and he tries to kind of fix it, and it's clearly very painful.
Maybe he has to stitch himself up a little bit too. There's like a little part where there's a little rip that he has to stitch back up.
Yeah, you've got that frosting, right? You've got that frosting.
Yeah, I gotta rearrange the frosting and swipe some up on there. Yeah.
Right. So but it's obviously just incredibly painful.
And at some point, I very clearly have to just say to myself in the mirror, "I'm getting too old for this shit."
Of course, yes, definitely. So there's a and like the sound is like the sound of the city. There's like a police siren outside, and upstairs you can hear like very vaguely someone like in a fight with someone else, just screaming obscenities that you can't quite make its way through the ceiling. So Dunk sort of like we see him kind of go over to the couch and reach out for like the remote control for the TV set, and then the camera sort of moves down underneath the couch, and we see like hidden in this sort of shoebox that's under there is a French press and a bunch of hypodermic needles. So. Like he's hurting real bad. So, Dunk, what do we see? What does the audience see to see that you're tempted by this?
Well, like after the establishing shot that there is that box under the couch, right?
Right.
You see me tapping the cushion of the couch directly above where that is. Just kind of starts slowly, and then it kind of just starts to tap, 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 tap.
Right. A little bit of withdrawal. Nice. I like it. That's good. Okay, so this is a good place for us to decide whether Dunk gives into his impulse. And remember, we'll be coming up with a way. Obviously, giving into an addiction is never good, but we'll have to keep in mind that this has to be bad for Dunk in some way. And it doesn't necessarily, I'm not sure I established this in the last scene, but it doesn't necessarily have to be bad in this scene. It can just be, it has to be a bad consequence for them in general. So let's go to the cards. So I get one card for being the producer, and it's Dunk's spotlight episode. So I'm going to spin big. I'm going to put 4 of my budget towards Dunk giving in to his impulse. So I'm going to spin that down to 14, and there is now 8 in the pool. Right. So, Dunk, you get 3 for your screen presence for free.
Yeah.
Do you have a trait that you feel is relevant to this?
Well, there's the addiction to coffee.
That's not actually a trait. Yeah, it had to be a connection or a connection or an edge would be a trait.
I could probably bring something in, but to be honest with you,
you're good as it is?
I'm kind of leaning in your direction on this one anyway. So.
All right, that sounds good. Now, if anybody, and that includes Jenn, Mark, and Brendan, want to spend fan mail on either side, including you, Mick, you can throw in fan mail cards on either side. We can do that now.
You know what? I might actually toss a fan mail card in on the producer side here.
Okay. Sounds good. Put a card, and again, far to the right so that we can differentiate it, make it a clearly separate thing. All right, sounds good. Anyone else want to throw in? No? Okay.
I'm going to leave it to fate.
All right, it's up to fate. What will Dunk's fate be? Oh my goodness!
Oh, it's coffee time!
It's coffee time. Oh, it's definitely coffee time. Now, notice though, this fan mail, this red king is the high card, and Mick, that's your card. So you will get to have a silver lining as a result of this.
Okay.
Yeah, we see he can't take it. Like the television screen is nothing but like car chases and police shows and like all of the characters. And I don't know how we get this across in food, but like all of those characters are fresh and young and good looking. They're not like this big dumpy donut who just gotten the sprinkles beat off of him, right? Like
maybe there's like a game show where they bring the contestants on and they're still in their little wrappers, and they open up the wrappers to get in there, and then they step up to play in the game. So you're fresh from the store. What's it?
Oh yeah, they're all young and they're all beautiful and Dunk is really feeling it, so he reaches down underneath. He gets out the French press, like you see it squeeze down, and the black, oily coffee bubbles up.
Yes.
I think maybe the coffee is ultra realistic, like our guns are ultra realistic. Like it's really, really vivid and really black. And then we see him pull off a hypodermic. And what's it like for Dunk when he shoots up?
I stick it right in the middle of the hole, right there.
Oh, nice. Okay. Oh my God. Wow. That's pretty brutal. That's a brutal, uncompromising vision of food court right there. All right. Yeah. And I think you described in that when we were setting up our characters, like it gets a little soggy and a little brown, and it's not good for you. But like clearly he's overcome with feeling. So as you're like halfway into that, like you hear someone like opening your door, like there's like the rattle of the doorknob, and we hear Billy Bagel's voice from out in the hall. Hey, Dunk, I heard you got a big collar today. Thought I'd drop by and oh my God, Dunk.
Just get out of here. Just go. Just get going. Get going. Get by. Go. Leave. Why don't you here right now?
What? What's going on?
Just get the hell out of here. I'm telling you. Get go. Go. Just go. Go now.
Okay. All right. I'll go. You can't. Dunk, are you all right? Do I need to call an ambulance?
You're going to be calling ambulance for yourself if you don't get the hell out of my house!
He's like, Billy Bagel's like shaking his head. Oh, you've got the jitters bad, man. You've got the jitters bad.
I'm going to jitter up your ass if you don't leave my house!
He runs out the door and drops like the bag that he had with him. So do you have a thought, Mick, on what the silver lining might be, or anybody want to chime in on this?
I have an interesting idea.
Go for it.
But anybody else can chime in with one too, because I don't want to dominate all the ideas. But I feel like at this point, this like he slams the door and he just takes a deep breath, and then like some indication of some time passing to where, okay, so still the same scene, but now he's starting to come down.
Right, like we see some sunlight coming in through the blinds.
And he drops himself back on his couch finally, instead of jittering around his place the whole time. And he looks down at his phone that's sitting on the coffee table. Oh, the coffee table. And
the coffee table.
And he picks up the phone and he dials a number. And he says, Hey, listen, can we talk? See.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so he reaches out to somebody. That's the silver lining. That's great.
Yes.
I love it. That's a terrific character silver lining. Perfect. Well done. I like it. Good job. That was Brendan's scene. So we'll now go to Mark. Mark, you have 3 questions: location, who's there, and what's the question of the scene, plot or character.
Cool. Before we go on, so what happens to this fan mail card? Does it go?
You're right. It's because it's red. That means it goes back into my budget. So my budget
Cool.
increases by 1. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to do a plot scene, because I already did a character scene. Mm-hmm. And I would like the plot scene to be perhaps Beverly Broccoli and myself meeting with the district attorney to talk about the prosecution against the cupcake. And I want to know, will the DA prosecute the cupcake? Is that a good?
Yeah,
question?
that's good. That's good. Yeah, cool. I like it. Will the DA prosecute is perfect.
Yeah. So we gotta get the food court going.
Got it. Oh yeah, definitely. All right. So let's see. Oh, and what's the location?
The location is, why don't we say it's at the DA's office, so we're kind of off balance. And
Okay.
I think I want to be clear about the conflict. I think it's that the Cupcake's lawyers are claiming the frosting defense, like that the the Cupcake had been huffing frosting and therefore wasn't really in control and needs to be, like can't be.
Let's keep it thematic. It was coffee.
Yeah.
The guy's on coffee.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's keep the coffee defense. That's good. But yeah, but good fan mail from Brendan to you for coming up with the defense idea. So I'm gonna throw that to you, and
cool.
Definitely. All right. So the DA's office. So like we've seen the cop shop, which is like the big rundown box of donuts. So like the DA's office is like ultra modern, like a glass desk, like big views of Food City, and you can see like there's like freezers, like and refrigerators towering over the skyline, and in fact probably this like all of the fixtures in the office look like the little things on the inside of refrigerators, like there's like a knob, and then there's like those little grid in the back, stuff like that. Oh, and of course the light, above the desk comes on when you open the door to come in. When you close the door behind you, like the light goes out, but the attorney is still silhouetted in the light from the window, and it's District Attorney Evian, and District Attorney Evian has his little arms crossed, and he says. Well, Haggis, I understand that that although you haven't been in this country that long, you've already learned to be a cowboy.
No, I was trying to ride any horses at all. I was just trying to catch criminals.
What I'm surprised at is why you let this go so far, Dr. Broccoli.
Excuse me. I would challenge you to try and stop Haggis when she gets something in her head.
Nice. She nods his head a little bit and says, I just wouldn't expect to see your name on one of these reports, is what I'm saying. I expect to see, Haggis and quinoa, running off and gunning down people. But,
yeah, and I helped, right? Like,
That's what I'm saying.
Cupcake down, okay? Like... I don't know if you were in the bar when Haggis was telling the story. She kind of left my part out.
I don't drink.
Haggis says, to be fair, I probably did a little bit. I mean, I don't want to embarrass you, but you did a great job. I mean, you got in the car, you brought everybody else with you, you totally disregarded all the useless procedures.
All right, you know what? Here's my problem. Is that when we brought William Birthday Jr. into the lockup, he tested at a very high quantity of coffee in his system. His lawyers are saying that means that none of his statements about him setting off the bomb are admissible, and that means that this case is looking weaker by the second. I need a reason from you to...
They're all using the coffee. They're all using the coffee defense. He can't just hide behind that shield.
It says, listen, the judge is open to this kind of argument, and you know it. What have you got that's going to link this?
The judge is only open to this argument because he himself likes a little bit of coffee on the side.
Listen, you know what? If you want to argue, about this with the legislature, you go right ahead on your own time. Run for governor if you want. But what I want to know is what you are going to do to make this case work. Haggis, have you got anything in your back pocket that you haven't put on the table yet? Great, good idea, Brendan. Fan mail to Jenn for the judge liking the coffee.
I sort of turned back to check my non-existent pockets. I'm like, I already did my part. Like I caught the guys and I chased them down and ripped the guy, and I start launching into the same story again.
Okay, I don't want to hear it. Hang on.
Okay.
Slams his pencil on the table.
Okay.
Broccoli, so what have you got?
Clearly, this bomb was a premeditated act. He did not assemble this bomb this evening. We all know that coffee does not stay in the bloodstream for longer than a day.
You can only rent coffee.
Exactly.
All right, fan mail to Jenn for the legal argument. This is
I love it.
Haggis instantly jumps on. She's like, exactly. I mean, every time I've dealt with somebody who's been doing coffee, it's in and out of their system so fast. It's like they can't help but just leak it out.
All right, good. Okay, so we're building really good to this question. So let's answer it to the cards. So one for me for being the producer, and I'm going to say 4. No, I'm going to say 3 on the side of the DA does not prosecute. So that's going to be a total of 4 cards for me. And let me move my expenditure over. Oops. Haggis and Broccoli are there, and you each have 2 screen presents, so you get those cards for free. And if either you
use one. Yep, sorry, one fan mail from me.
Okay, so fan mail off to the right.
And I will also use a fan mail.
Don't forget, you can also use traits or connections that could help you in this situation.
Oh, I'm also going to use highly educated haggis, and I'm going to say something to the effect of like, just in a stunning display of actual intelligence. I'm like, according to Section 24, 38B, he was actually arrested in a particular part of town that's governed by a separate set of jurisdictionary codes, right? Or at least that's what we're on the plane.
To you for that.
That's good. I like it. Fake legal arguments don't get better than that, man. All right, fan mail to Mark for the fake legal argument. There we go.
Great.
I'm also going to use a connection.
Another one for Haggis from Mick.
Awesome. I'm going to use my connection with Tab because, clearly I don't have cause to know that much about how people build bombs. So I feel like I got that information from Tab.
From good old Tab,
yeah. Yeah, we even have like a report. Maybe we came with the report from
from Tab. Okay, cool. Like he's looking it over. That's Tab character. I don't think he's going to testify well. All right, so let's flip them and see what's what.
People are going to look right over him and choose a more exciting witness.
That's right. That's right, damn it.
I mean, 10, 20 years ago, we could have gotten away with it, but today, yeah. All right, there we go.
All right.
4 cards for the producer. Oh, king.
I got 2 with a king. And you guys have a whole bunch with a king. We decided we go in alphabetical order.
Diamonds beat spades.
Diamonds beat spades. So I have the high card. So the DA is going to go ahead with the he's going to go ahead with the prosecution, but there will be a twist. So that I will do both of those since I got the high card.
Cool. And you get 2 back to your budget?
Yeah, 2 back to the budget. Thanks for reminding me. Put that in right now. Okay, so here we go. So the DA is looking over like your report of informant Tab, and he's like, I don't know. All right, look, we all know that this kid's the one that set off this bomb, but I don't believe for a second that this dingbat could put together a bomb like this. Like, yeah, I mean, he must have only been. He was probably dough when his father set off those original bombs. Okay, like he doesn't. There's no way this kid just like picked it up from dear old dad.
Haggis like stops it. Don't you mean batter? He'd be batter. I mean, he's a cupcake, not like.
Yeah, batter. Yeah, that's what I mean, batter. So he was still getting mixed when his father went up for these bombs. So I believe that there's an accomplice, and the defense is going to point their fingers at them if we don't pick them up and make them part of the case. So I'm putting Haggis. I can't trust you on this case. You already demonstrated that you're just going to run off and screw up affairs on your own. It was only because Brock came in and rescued you that everything is A-OK. Brock, putting you in charge of finding out who the accomplice is. It's top priority for the department. So, take along Dunk and Quinoa and whoever else, and glares at Haggis, whoever else you wish.
So Haggis is like, this seems perfectly reasonable. Yeah, you're right. I'm way out of control. Doc Brock is a very much better person to be dealing with than me.
Listen, I didn't ask for compliments, and I didn't ask for you to suck up. Now get out of my office.
What?
All right, good seeing you guys. That was fun.
Wait, how does Doc? How do you react to this? What's the?
Oh yeah.
I think.
I'm sorry. Hang on. I got my kids asking me a question.
No, it's cool.
Good. I need the technical difficulties.
Technical difficulty sign.
Sorry.
No
What was
problem.
the question?
Just how does Doc react? Haggis is like, oh, it's totally reasonable.
Yeah. So I'm like, no, that's great. I'm excited to be leading this team. Except I sort of shoot a little bit of a dirty look at Haggis because I know how Haggis does teamwork, and I don't really approve. So.
Nice. So Broccoli's up for it. That's cool. Okay, cool. All right. Any other thoughts? Okay, so that was that scene. So I think that was Mark's scene.
Mm-hmm.
So next will be Jenn. So Jenn, there are 3 questions: location, who's there, and is a plot or character scene.
I feel like I would like to see what Quinoa is up to now that she's beaten up a cop. So I think I want to see Quinoa. I'm not exactly sure where you would be though. If you would be back home, or if did Dunk did you want to press charges or something, or because that's assault.
What if what it could be? We've established that Haggis's girlfriend Eclair runs the precinct, so maybe it's in Eclair's office, and she's calling Quinoa onto the carpet.
I love it. Yes.
Okay.
And
what's the question? It should be is it going to be a plot scene or a character scene? So is someone going to give into their impulse, or is it going to be something that advances the story of the episode?
I want it to be a plot.
Okay. And so what specifically is the question, which is...
Is it maybe, can we get Quinoa out of trouble enough to get back on the case?
Okay.
And dodge all the consequences that would normally happen in the real world?
Sure. Like Eclair is suspending Quinoa and but we need them for the team to beat Birthday Junior.
Mm-hmm.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jenn, who do you want to be there other than? Oh, we lost Mick.
Not Dunk, obviously.
Not Dunk, obviously. I'm sure he'll be back as soon as he can. Anybody? Do you want Brock to be there since she's been put in charge?
Yeah, I think Brock's going to be there because clearly her professional opinion is called for in this instance.
Perfect.
I think I explicitly barred Haggis from coming. I don't care if she was interested.
Right.
She doesn't need to rile up Quinoa anymore.
Okay, sounds good.
I think it's just Eclair and... Sorry.
And is Dunk going to be... I think, since it's a Dunk Spotlight episode, maybe he's there too.
Okay.
Go ahead. Was there someone else that was talking? I'm sorry.
Not me.
Mark was, but now he's muted.
Okay. All right. And Jenn, you're the one that decides if Dunk is there or not. And let me give you my idea, which is that maybe Ella being younger than Dunk, though above Dunk in rank,
I love it.
looks
totally.
to him maybe kind of as a mentor almost. Does that make sense? And okay, you just got fan mail for keeping Haggis out of the scene, so that's.
I love the idea that Haggis is like, let me in there and I'll get him out. Right? You're like, nope.
What's happening in there? Nice, good job. Okay, so I don't think we've seen Ella's office. So it's probably the tidiest office that we've seen inside the cop shop. but it's still like got this big oversized like 19th century desk, and like it's got the frosted glass separating her out. Oh, and of course the frosted glass has like the big masking tape over it because they're just installing it from where it blew out in the explosion. And in her office, she has quinoa and dunk and broccoli. And she says, and she begins with, quinoa, you are lucky you are only getting a 2-month suspension. Look at this. And she pulls out her smartphone, and there's like a YouTube video that says, cops gone bad. And then she like, I'll flip through them all here. Drunken brawl at Bloody Sunday. It says, look at this, the department's finest getting into a fight. Now, and she like indicates Dunk, and she says, and not just with some rookie off the street. Blood on Sunday, as Jenn said. That's great. So that's the Twitter hashtag that you've got. Mark is giving Jenn fan mail for that, so that's awesome. Like Ella's like yelling and pounding her. And I'm not sure if Ella's appeared on screen yet, but I anticipate that Lieutenant Ella Claire is a little on the Zaftig side. Like she sits behind her desk a lot. So she is she's just laying into quinoa, and she says, you're lucky you're not suspended for 2 months. Now I want your badge and your gun, and I want you at home for the next 4 weeks. I don't want to see your face around here. If you can't,
Whoa, that might be a bit of an overreaction. She may be a complete asshat, but she is one of our best cops, and we.
Dunk, look at this picture. This is a picture.
I was there. Okay?
In your face.
I was there. I'm fully aware. But
it's like a sequence of photos, like a slow motion.
Sprinkles go flying.
Yeah.
I like it's like a comically long number of like she just keeps showing them, right? Like you think it's gonna be over and it stops being funny and it starts being funny again because it's so long.
All right, fan mail to Brendan for that description from Jenn. Good job. Oh, that's awesome. So she's like flipping through all these pictures. And she says, Dunk, I appreciate your input, and I know that you're technically the victim, but it's not up to you. I run my precinct a certain way, and I expect a high degree of professionalism from my officers.
Well, I can respect that, boss, but maybe at this point the priority is expecting a high degree of success in solving this case about the serial killer.
I thought you guys got the guy.
I'm talking about this. We're locking down a serial killer here. We got a person on loan from a problem. No, it's not. It's a serial killer in town. It's a serial in town's problem.
All right, so it's a serial in town. All our serial citizens. She says, look, I'm not discounting that, but I need to have order in my squadron. There's no question. So she looks to Quinoa and says, what do you have to say for yourself?
I feel like there's a series of thought bubbles where I'm like, fuck you in your department!
And then another one where you like pull out your gun and like...
Yeah, exactly. and then it finally comes down to... well, I will take whatever punishment the department wants to give me, but...
You're damn right you will.
I would appreciate the opportunity to close the case with my partner.
And she says, all right, Doc, you were there. You saw the whole thing go down. What's your assessment of these officers? Can I trust them?
I know that Quinoa seems to be kind of hot-tempered. I didn't think I saw anything in her file about spices, but you never can tell.
Look aghast at that. I do not use spices. I have all natural quinoa, organic, 100%.
You punched Dunk over here. Okay, that
Maybe
is
I'm just
not the
naturally
behavior.
spicy.
That is not the behavior of organic quinoa, and you know it. And
To be fair,
I turn back
started the
to
fight.
be clear, a little bit. I feel very strongly. Brendan put in the chat, my father was cinnamon. Okay, I don't like to talk about it. Oh my god, you guys. Okay, so I'm back to Ella. I think you can trust these officers to perform their duties. They may not represent the department as well as you would like, and that is certainly something that I will work on with them. But we clearly have an accomplice to catch. William, there's no way he could have made that bomb on his own. He had to have an accomplice, and they blew up the police box.
Listen, I don't want you to, I don't want you to think that I don't trust Dunk, okay? Dunk has been an outstanding officer in this precinct for so many years. I mean, if you want to talk about a clean officer who has, who doesn't have a blemish on their record, who doesn't have any type of secrets in their closet or shadowy sides of their personality, like
you don't need to shove tasty filling up my ass, okay?
Okay, I get it.
It's really simple. If you take her badge, mine hits your desk 2 seconds later.
Whoa! What? She says, well, that's a... Are you saying that you'll take responsibility for what happens with Quinoa Duck? Because if so, that's
yes, that's what started the whole fight in the first place. I was taking responsibility for shutting her frickin' mouth in front of our team.
Oh, nice. So Brendan just says fan mail to Mick because he gave the audience feels in a show about talking food. And I totally agree. That's a heavy, heavy move. I like it. So to have a fan mail.
Thank you.
So, okay. So here's the question, which is, does she, sorry, what was your question originally then, again, Jen? I blanked on it.
Does it? What was Mark put one forward? Is it like, does she suspend
Mark, that's right.
Quinoa?
That's right.
I can't remember.
Is Quinoa suspended or not? And I'm on the side of Quinoa is suspended. So 1 for me for being the producer. And I'm going to say, let me look at my cards here. I'm going to say I'm going to spend 3 on this one. That's pretty good. I kind of want to see where this goes. Let me move my 3 over, so that'll take us to... Thank you for being so attentive to the fan mail, everybody. As I say, it's never good when there's fan mail in the pool. It's always good when it's being handed out. So, all right. So everyone except Haggis is there. I guess there could be a question. Maybe Quinoa feels that if they're suspended, they can pursue the case on their own without government oversight. So I feel like I should just ask to be sure. Like, which side is everybody throwing in on with their screen presence? So Dunk gets 3, Brock gets 2, Quinoa gets 2, and you guys can put them wherever you like.
I'm definitely putting mine towards not suspended.
Got it.
As do I, because I would
3.
lose my job too.
Yeah, that was, man. Let me tell you, that was that's a lot of feels there. Like, of course, she can always order you to stay on the like. You can't. Like, she can always just say, "I don't accept."
I love the idea that she's just like, you realize I can always just order you. You just not accept.
Right.
It's a gesture, but
no, it was a heavy moment, and I didn't want to,
Don't cops always just get to
minimize
walk out if they just want to?
it's such an archer thing. It doesn't work like that. I want to put mine against the producer as well, so that's another 2.
All right, cool. And traits or connections?
Did you put mine against the producer or on the side of the producer?
I put it on the side of the producer. Did you say against?
I did.
Okay. Traits or connections first before we do fan mail?
No, I used my trait.
Okay.
I've already used it twice this episode.
All right, cool.
I will I'll go ahead and use fan mail.
All right.
My knowledge of the beat gives me experience enough to know that I've got some leverage here.
You sure do. Yeah. Your history in the department. And one fan mail on that side. Any other fan mail on either side?
Yeah, I'll put in one fan mail on our side.
All right, cool. You guys are going for that high card, I see. All right, let's find it out. Ooh, only one, and a terrible set of cards at that. Oh, man, you guys blew me away. Okay, so both of the fan mails go back into my budget, so I'm going to do that right now before I forget. Okay, so, all right, so, and the ace, did you guys track to see whose ace that was? So if we count from the left, I think was Dunk. So if Dunk was 3, then 2 for Brock, then 2 for Quinoa, and then 1 for Quinoa's trait. So I think that ace belongs to you, Brendan.
Yeah, this last one is Dunk's trait, and then the fan mail. So yeah, but it should still be Quinoa's trait.
Okay, got it.
Quinoa's budget. Quinoa's regular budget, or regular screen presence.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that ace belongs to Brendan is what I'm trying to get at. Is that right? Okay. All right. So Brendan, you will be. Not only did you guys succeed at keeping Quinoa on the force, but Brendan, you will be thinking of an additional benefit. It's a yes and type of situation. And so I'll do the yes. So it's very simple. Like, Ella, like she has the same feels that the audience does when Dunk, stands by his partner, and she shakes her head and she says, "Dunk, I sure hope you know what you're doing. This case is getting a lot of press, and when those jackals start sniffing around, you never know where they're going to bite." So she hands over the the badge over to Quinoa, and she takes out the paperwork, and she has 2 stamps on her desk. One says suspended and one says warned. So she puts warned on it and puts it away. So that's her part. Brendan, what do you think about the yes and the bonus?
I mean, I wonder if this is enough, and you can tell me if this is cool, Mick, but what I'm envisioning is something like, so we actually leave her office, right, and we don't need to say anything else, and then shortly outside of it, Dunk and Quinoa are standing next to each other, and Quinoa just, without even looking at Dunk, says, "Well, you're an utter asshole, but you keep your word. You got me through that, I'll get you through your thing." I want to imply that, Quinoa is the one he actually wound up calling.
Oh, that could be cool.
That is right where you picked up the ball and ran with it, buddy.
All right, good.
Nice.
That's nice. Reincorporation at this stage of the game is really good. So great job. And was that Jenn, or that was Jenn's scene, I believe. So our next one will be for Mick. So Mick. Of course, sorry, I forgot to mention the one thing that happens as a result of that yes and that Brendan described is the music gets really maudlin and soft for about 5 seconds during that scene. So that's my contribution to that. So Mick, there are three things in this that you have to answer: location, who's there, and is it and what's the question of the scene, plot or character?
Whew, okay. I am extremely open to ideas from my compatriots right now.
So we should maybe get back to the case and try to make some progress on who made the bomb.
Yeah.
It would also be good if we could, since it's your spotlight, if maybe it wasn't a clue, but maybe a criminal informant that Dunk is known from back in the day.
Maybe you go see Billy Birthday in the prison.
Oh, yeah,
let's go see Billy Birthday.
That's great. Your kid's out there making bombs birthday while you baking the slammer.
All right, save it for the scene, guys. Okay.
So we're going to the prison.
Going to the prison. All right.
We're going to talk to Billy Birthday.
Okay, so the scene will take place at the prison. Billy Birthday will be there, and Dunk will be there. Who else will be there from the team, Dunk? Or Mick?
Christina's coming. I actually, if I could, these kinds of scenes don't usually have this many people, but I want to bring everybody.
Okay, well maybe it's like one of those Law and Order scenes where there's 2 of you in the interrogation room and 2 that are like observing and can communicate with like an earpiece or something.
Perfect. Okay,
That's
because
great.
we need Brock's psych expertise here.
Right.
And I just happen to like the hell out of haggis anyway. So
A fan mailed a mark for
she needs to
baking.
come.
Yeah, it makes sense that like this is like associated with the serial killer case, so I get brought along as the special attaché, but I can't go in. I can't talk to him.
Yeah, you're not allowed to talk to him.
I'm
right?
not allowed to talk
Behind
to
the
him.
one-way
We can
mirror.
establish that. So,
Behind the one-way mirror, we got Doc and Brock.
and what's the
Doc
question?
and haggis.
That's me and
Doc
me.
and- It's both of you. So, what's the
Wait, did
question?
somebody come in past and I didn't realize?
You sprouted.
The question, how should I frame this? I want to know if Billy Birthday Sr. actually could have or did encourage his son to do this.
Okay. So, like, the question could be, does Billy tell you what he knows?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And what he knows could be, like, yeah, I told my kid to do it, or no, I didn't. It was, John Jones or whatever it is.
Or could we reframe it because of the time? I'd like to frame it like, does our working theory that somebody else taught Billy Jr. how to build the bomb, is it corroborated by this discussion? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's like really focus it down, and we can make it kind of a general question. Does Billy Birthday give up his son's accomplice?
Oh, okay. Okay,
Like that-
sounds good.
Is that get
Sure,
at what you were trying to get at?
sure.
Okay.
Because it can be him or it can be somebody else, right?
Or at least, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Got it. Okay. So we head down. So the we see Dunk's car, and zooming down the highway, and there's a sign at the exit that says, Food City Penitentiary, and someone has spray painted underneath it, the cooler. And off to the you go down the off ramp, and of course it's a massive, like supermarket like freezer type building. It's got barbed wire along the top and spotlights shining down, and there's various foods with shotguns and correctional officers' outfits there, and we see our team kind of walking through the corridors, being led by the warden. I'm trying to think of a good prison food.
It should be a Twinkie. She should be like a big Twinkie. So she's preserved, right?
Oh, okay, got it. So she's definitely a Twinkie, and in fact she has like the Twinkie 6-shooter, like at her side, and she's leading everybody through the halls, and she says, "Well, I'll tell you, I've had a lot of demented, rotten pieces of meat in this institution, but I ain't never had anybody like Billy Birthday. He's a real sicko. I had to put him in the hole more than once. So you think that he might be involved with what's going on in this case, huh?" She's addressing Dunk.
Yep.
Well, if you want to do more than talk to him, you have my blessing as far as I'm concerned. Right in here. Oh, hey, listen, they told me your ID, now pointing at Haggis, some kind of Scotland fridge thing. You can't go in and talk to any of my inmates without the State Department signing off on it, so you're going to have to be in observation with the egghead here. Broccoli head, sorry.
It seems reasonable. I mean, I don't expect full and unfettered access.
Well, you shouldn't. I run a tight institution. All right, Billy, you got yourself a couple of visitors. And so sitting in one of the interrogation rooms is with his hands chained down to the ring in the table is a birthday cake, and like the candles are like almost all the way down, like they're really low. There's like a little pool of wax, up on his head, and nevertheless, despite his age, he's still like almost lunges at Dunk when he sees him and goes, you son of a bitch, you put me in here. She says, now don't cause any problems. Clang.
Boy, when you make friends.
Yeah, I know. So, this is my partner, Quinoa.
What?
I'm organic.
Your partner what?
Yes.
You're organic. Ah! Organic? Listen, pal, we're all organic here.
I slam it into the desk again.
Listen, I studied chemistry at Food University, and I know we all have carbon in our makeups. That makes us all organic. What do you think of that, quinoa?
An interesting point. Slam.
So the second time he slams him into the table, I turn to Doc Broccoli and I say, "Is that how you do things here? You just slam people into tables and it's okay?"
Well, that's how quinoa does things.
All right, what does Dunk do?
Like, are you about done? Because maybe I won't be able to help you keep that badge. You keep that crap up.
What? We got the go-ahead. It's fine.
I'll sue. I know all kinds of lawyers in here would be happy to take your badge and $1 million out of the department's hide for every time you slam me down on this table, quinoa.
All right. Listen, Billy. We gotta talk about your boy.
Billy's face sort of falls a little bit. What do you know about him?
Well, we know he's going down. He's going down hard. We know he got kneecapped the other night trying to blow us up.
That's bull.
Really?
That's a pile of baloney if I ever met one.
So, you're saying that he ain't got nothing to do with building no bombs?
No. He wasn't even around when I was doing that stuff. His mom took him. When he was just little, they hadn't even lit his candle yet.
Well, he's been doing some learning.
Kind of nods his head.
So he claims you're trying to get to me from in here by using him to blow me and mine up.
Whoa, no way, Dunk. No way. He wouldn't give me up like that. No way.
He wouldn't give you up, would he?
No way. He's loyal.
So you try to blow me up? You hate me that much?
No. Yeah, that's BS. No way. Sorry, I forgot. It's Archer. That's bullshit. No way.
Okay.
All right, so he's denying it. So Quinoa kind of had his crack at him. Dunk, you're questioning him a little bit. Brock, what are you doing to throw in the situation here? What's your contribution?
I don't know. I think I'm just observing. Like, I've got a copy of his file, maybe from the warden,
right.
And I'm sort of checking it for holes or tells or something.
So do you like give Dunk some ideas on how he should question this guy?
Oh yeah, totally. I'll feed him like bits of ask him about the pastry school. Ask him about the pastry school.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the pastry school.
So you're saying that back in pastry school, all that stuff that happened, that's not your kid's bid?
He kind of looks down a little bit and he says, "Look, it's not against the law for a guy to try to, pay his way for his kid to go to a good school, Like, what was I going to do with that money in here? Nothing. I'm in here for life, man. That inheritance, it wasn't going to do me any good, so I sent it to a school. So what? You can't prove anything came out of that.
Okay.
I say, so maybe we actually like knock on the door and get you to come back to the door a little bit.
Right.
And I say, he might know something about the serial killer. Why don't you go ahead and tell him we're looking into it and ask him if he knows any serials that have had a bad turn of it lately, and maybe even imply he might be the killer himself.
All right, so that's a good idea. I guess good idea.
It's a terrible idea. He's been in jail for years.
Yeah, but maybe he doesn't know that.
No, I gotta play on this. Just trust me for a second. I've been
All right.
times. So I reach into my coat pocket and have something up my sleeve,
Mm-hmm.
and I go back over to Billy and I say, "Okay, so here's the reality of the situation." And I lay the half-burnt Special K piece of cardboard that we found stuck into the bomb detonator.
Hey, why are you showing me that, man? That's sick. That's sick. You would carry that around with you. That's
Yeah.
sick, man. Why are you showing that to me?
See, the thing is, we found this in your boy's bum.
You ain't proven that it was his. You ain't proven that. Okay, fan mail to Mick from Mark for your ploy here. Good job.
So, the thing is, we're figuring either he's the Special K serial killer, or he's working with the Special K serial killer. One of them could get him into some trouble.
That's impossible.
The
That's
other
impossible.
is going to get him into, like, a grave.
Don't threaten my kid. All right, perfect. This is a great build-up. Great job, Mick. Great job, everybody, for pushing in on Billy. So let's go to the cards. So one for me for being the producer. I'm gonna spend. I'm gonna go ahead and spend 3, and that will get us exactly 2/3 of the way through my budget. On the side of Billy does not give up his son's accomplice. Okay, cool. And so Dunk gets his 3 for his screen presence. I think everybody did a good job at making their presence felt in this scene. Like, you guys put your presence, I assume, all on the same side because you want to catch the serial killer. Any traits or connections you want to put in, or fan mail on either side?
I'll put in one of my fan mails.
As will I.
All right, so put those 2 off to the right. And be sure that you guys keep tabs on which of these cards are whose, so we can tell who gets the high card.
So we'll say these 3 here are for Dunk, and these 2 are for Quinoa, these 2 are for Broccoli, these 2 are for me.
Got
and
it.
This 3rd card is Jen's, and the 4th card is Mick's.
Got it. So this little gathering over here is like inside the room. This is your observation room. Okay, cool. Let's flip them. Let's see how it goes. I got 2 with a high card. Oh, sorry, with Queen. You guys have a bajillion with 2 aces. So I think both of those aces belong to Jenn.
Yep.
Okay. So you guys succeed. So I'll play out Billy giving you the information about his son's accomplice. One of those fan mails comes back into my budget. The other leaves the game. So let me do that right now. And Jenn, as I'm sort of narrating out, if you have a suggestion for the yes and, because there's an additional benefit that happens.
I totally have that right now.
Oh, tell me. And we'll work it
yeah. So he's giving up his son's accomplice, but he's also like giving up that he knows this other guy who might be the serial killer. And clearly they're not the same person. His son is not associated with the serial killer. So we also kind of get a little bit of a lead on the serial killer.
Okay, good. I like it. All right. That's excellent. So, like, Dunk just lays it on him that his kid might go down for being a serial killer. And he shakes his head and he says, no, he's a good kid. He wouldn't do that. He may be hot-headed. Our family, our wick burns pretty bright at the top. It fades a little as it goes down. But listen, I can tell you that he did fall in with a bad crowd. This chick, bad for him. A real hot tomato, if you know what I mean. He got involved with her, and she started riling him up and saying that that I was holding out, that if I still had that inheritance money. If I hadn't spent it all on the school, if I had been out, then we could have made that money and invested it in, I don't know, some kind of big con, and that we could have doubled or tripled his money. So they blamed you, Dunk. So the tomato's name is, let's see, Holly, and she's gonna be his accomplice. I don't want to say she's the brains, because my kid's pretty smart. We got all A's at that school, but she's probably the one that pushed him to do it. Maybe even got into my old supplies. That's just the kind of trouble she is. But I'll tell you, he ain't a serial killer. They weren't a part of that. But I heard things in here, man. I heard that there was a real bad egg, and that bad egg is the one you're looking for when you're talking about. He puts his hands up like he doesn't want to see the special K box, like that kind of stuff. And I'm gonna have nightmares about that. They say his name is Benedict. And thank you to Jenn for that suggestion. Fan mail from Mark.
Yeah.
Fan mail
Yeah.
from Brendan.
That's pretty good.
Fan mail from Mark and Brendan to Jenn for Eggs Benedict. I should note that the bad egg was also from Jenn in the chat, I think.
Can't help myself. I've gone wild with puns.
It's so good. So
yeah.
good. All right.
Get what I like. I'm like leaning in. Heather's like leaning in really close, and when he says Benedict, she just whispers it right against the glass. Benedict. And
That's a great end to the scene. That's a great place to fade out there. Good job, you guys.
What a fan mail that.
Yeah, fan mail for that. Good. Done. Consider it done. All right, you guys. We are now. That's the second time through. We're now going to do the third time through, and I'm just going to anticipate that we may not make it all the way to Mick again, because the game ends when I spend my last budget point. The next person, we are back to Brendan. So knowing that we need to wrap the episode up in the next, say, 3 scenes or so, what is your thought on location, who's there, and what is the question of the scene?
So I'm thinking it's a plot scene, right? And we're gonna go after Holly Hot Waco. Right? Did we say where she would be? Did we say where she would find her?
No, maybe you just know, or maybe you go or.
Okay, so she's at the soup factory.
Okay, yeah, the soup
It's
factory.
not a soup factory.
It's not a soup. Wow. Okay. All right. The soup factory, a strip club.
Yes.
All right. That sounds good.
And let's see. So we're going to bring her in, right?
Okay.
Or at the very least, question her and figure out what the hell's going on. So I guess the question is, maybe can we catch her, or should we jump straight to she's at the station and do we get her to confess?
Up to you, man.
Okay. Let's go for do we catch her?
Yeah. Let's have a good action scene.
Yeah.
So, all right. So who's going to be part of this action scene?
So I think Dunk has to be.
Okay, Dunk definitely.
Okay, it sounds like Doc Brock wouldn't go because it's gross.
No, because it's specifically unsavory.
I'm
You
sorry.
get it? Unsavory.
This piece of my soul dies each time.
I know, me too.
So I think Dunk is there, I think Quinoa is there, and I guess the question is Haggis there? I feel like Haggis is there whether we want Haggis to be there or not.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. All right, so and the question of the scene is, do you catch the tomato, Holly?
Yes.
All right, so yeah, so we'll make it so that it was just like so obviously easy to know like how to find her, is because she's like on the marquee of the soup factory, and it says appearing tonight and every night, Holly Hot Tomato.
2 T's.
2 T's. And like there's a bunch of other vegetable puns on the marquee, and Jen, if you want more fan mail, just put them in the chat and I'll announce them. So we see Dunk's car, kind of blending in with all of the other scuzzy cars in the parking lot. And our 3 heroes, Haggis, Quinoa, and Dunk, are preparing to make entry into the place. So there they are.
All right, ladies. I just want to let you know that this is a kind of a place that's sort of, well...
Familiar with this place, are you?
Well, I'm just saying, I've been around, and...
At that point, Haggis starts to wave at one of the girls who's outside, like, "Hey there, how you doing? Yeah, everything going well today? Yeah. But no, I was by on Tuesday. I missed you. You must have been out. Oh, you're sick. Yeah, no, it's better not to come in when you're sick. Now, hey, let me introduce you to some of the girls." And I get Dunk and Quinoa and like drag them over to the entrance.
All right, cool. So, as you can see, there are many good names popping up in chat, Mark. So, who do you introduce them to first?
Oh, this is Candy Yam. I mean, she's
Oh, hi!
Hey, Candy, say hello to. I mean, you probably know Dunk. I see him here on some.
Oh, of course, I know Dunk. I remember.
Yeah, my friend Candy Spring
for truancy.
Oh, it's a long time ago, right?
Oh yeah, forever. Like I hardly remember it at all.
Right, and this is Quinoa. She's not. Yeah. I mean, you probably don't see a lot of quinoas around here. I mean,
no. You must be from overseas.
Sire 10 is.
Is that a Scottish? Are you from Scotland too?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, sure. Come on in. I'll get you set up with a great table. Hi, Marsha Mallow.
Thank you, darling. Like, quinoa's got the temper of a Scots food, but it's really just because he's not very friendly. So let the girls know. Stay away from her. She's prickly and very healthy, which is not really that kind of thing.
She kind of shrugs, like, everyone's got their thing. So Candy Yam leads you in, and you find a kind of seat off to the side. And she, gets you set up with your watered-down drinks and goes into the back. And shortly thereafter, we get just a vividly drawn scene of the hot tomato coming out on stage, so I'm not going to describe that. So, let's just say it's vividly drawn, and so she gets about halfway into her show, and she's kind of going around to the people that are up at the bar that's right at the platform, so the lights are kind of coming up in the house a little bit as she moves up to the various foods that are seated there to dance with them. And when the lights come up close to your table, like she looks over and like the camera's on her eyes and the camera's on your table and it focuses in on Dunk, and she like jumps to her feet and just bolts for the back door.
Oh,
All right, we gotta catch up quickly.
Not old man.
So Haggis dumps the the stripper out of her lap and goes charging off with the two of you in pursuit. So we see everybody racing through the back corridors, and we see different foods like in various states of undress, like passing back and forth as the chase goes on. So let's go to the cards. I'm going to use a technique that no longer exists in Primetime Adventures. This is a second edition technique. So this is going to be a beat-for-beat action scene. So I'm going to take and I'm going to spend 4 budget because you guys are getting pretty tough on me here. So give me 5 cards. So that will make that down to 7. That goes to 5. Now, here's how it works. You guys, let's put all the cards out on the table first and make sure that everybody knows whose cards are whose. Fan mail for beats. Who had the beats? Oh, beat for beat.
It was Mark that did the beat pun, not B-E-A-T. He changed it to B-E-E-T, and I said fan mail for that.
Got it. Okay, cool. We will use it. All right. Beats by Dre. B-E-E-T. 9, huh? Okay. So everybody's got their screen presence up. Any traits or connections that apply in the chase for Holly?
I will use tough as nails to blow right through a door. And
smash through some flimsy, backstage door, or knock over someone who is getting in your way, some bouncer that tries to stop you, things like that. Any other traits or connections?
Yeah, I'm going to use my connection with Candy Sprinkles because I've been in these alleyways and through the back of this particular strip joint before.
Got it. Okay, so maybe Candy's there and she's like, that way, Dunk.
Okay, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So okay, so here's how it's going to go. We are going to put our cards into 3 columns, and everybody kind of has a. Oh yeah. Let's do fan mail first. Thanks for reminding me, Jen. Who wants to put in fan mail and on which side?
I'll put in 2 on our side.
Okay.
I will also put in 2 on your side.
Cool. And I'll just put in 1.
Wow, awesome.
I might as well put in 2.
All right, this is a big deal. All right, go for it. Because there's so many cards out, we won't use my special secret technique. It's a little hard to do on this kind of table anyway. Basically, what happens is you put your cards into 3 columns, and each of those columns becomes a beat in the action scene. But when you have a million cards out like this, it's kind of hard to do. So we'll skip that for now. All right, so let's flip them. Let's make it happen. 2, but I do have I have a very high card. You guys have a million and the Ace of Hearts, which beats my Ace. No, my clubs beats your Ace of Hearts.
Clubs is the best.
Got it. Okay. So, all right. So those 2 fan mail, Jen's 2 fan mail leave the game. I see 2 fan mail that come back to me. So I'll put that back in now. Okay. So the answer is yes, you catch them, but there's a twist. So, it's Candy that makes the difference. He's like, she went through there, and so you duck kind of into this back area where there's like a million costumes for like all the different stripper types. The cowboy, the nurse, the school teacher, the school girl, all of these like really chintzy sort of like half, old, not maybe even some of them are torn kind of costumes that are hanging up, old sequins littering the floor. As you kind of come racing in, and as you kind of move along, and there's a bullfighter costume of all things with a big red cape, and so like there's a moment where you all kind of like creep past with your guns out, and then Dunk goes, wait a second, and like turns back towards the red cape, and of course the tomato is camouflaged in front of the red cape. So tackles the tomato to the ground, and a little bit of tomato juice kind of like splurches out as you tackle him to the ground, and she's like, I have rights, you can't do this, I have rights. You're dragging her out, and so as you're dragging her out, I think the twist is going to be. So we now cut back to Dunk's car, and the tomato is like handcuffed in the back of the car. Yes, one of you will need to read her rights. Definitely want to do that. But before we do that, she's handcuffed in the back of the car. Haggis we see is like telling all of her stripper friends, like, yeah, I know, it's cool. Like, they're all, like, thinking that she's great for, being a hero in this situation. Yeah, I did protect you from this mad bomber. It's all good. And Quinoa is, like nearby on the cell phone, and it doesn't even really matter. It's just a moment when Dunk and the tomato are alone together, and she goes, yeah, listen, Dunk, I know who you are, and I know you can get me out of this if you want to. And if you do, I swear to God, I have got the best hookup for Kona Medium Blend, and you will never want for coffee again. I swear to God, there's a guy who will give it to me to give to you cheap as free for what you can do for us. I swear to God, I can get it done. You know I can get it done. Right?
You're asking me to go sour?
She says, we both know. You're already sour. And then, before Dunk can even answer, like, these two come back. Fan mail for Go Sour from everybody. That's awesome. Fan mail to Mick from Brendan and from Mark both for Go Sour. Good job. So yeah, the two come back before Dunk can even has a chance to process this offer. Did one of you want to read her rights?
I think it sounds like a thing Quinoa would do.
Go for it, Quinoa.
Oh, you have to go through the whole thing? Oh man.
It's up to you.
So we have you have the right to remain fresh. Any odors you emit can and will be used against you in a court of law. If you cannot afford an attorney,
you cannot afford a nutritionist.
you can consult with the nutritionist before your trial. If you cannot afford a nutritionist, one will be provided to you. And then it should just fade out.
Nice. I like it. Good. Cool. All right, guys. It's just about wrap-up time. Do we want to continue on and try to wrap this episode, and we have a couple more scenes, or do we want to call it a night?
I can stay on for a little longer. But
I'm
not
okay
long.
here. I'm on the West Coast, so I'm okay.
Jen?
I'm probably only good for about one more scene.
One more scene sounds good to me, too.
I think my child is still awake, and it's almost 10 o'clock at night. So.
Hoo boy. All right, cool. So that was Brendan's scene, so we're going to go to Mark. Mark, location, who's there, and what's the question?
Okay, so let's just go right to the interrogation room.
Right.
It's me and Dunk, and with quinoa and broccoli and it's me and broccoli in the room with Dunk and quinoa in the back. So we'll just flip it from last time.
All right.
And the question is, does the hot tomato confess that she's the one that did the bombs?
Okay, cool. Sounds good. All right, so the interrogation room here is a little more cramped, a little more close quarters than the one in the prison. Like, you guys are at this tiny little table, and we've got like the noir lighting on Holly Tomato. Like, she's leaning way back in the chair. She doesn't have handcuffs on. She's not dangerous. She talked the guy into it. And so we see Broccoli and Haggis come in.
Hi, you might not know me, but my name's Detective Haggis, and this is Doc Brock. I mean, Doctor Broccoli. Beverly Broccoli. I know her full name. That's how serious this is.
She kind of rolls her eyes, says, "Everybody at every strip joint on that street knows who you are, Haggis."
Hey, listen up. You might think you got it easy with Dunk and the Rice Kid, but let me tell you something.
The Rice Kid.
We've got a few minutes in here with you first, and this one will break you faster than than you're getting split open for whatever we use tomatoes for here in the States. Go ahead. I'm not here to interrogate you. I'm just here to supervise, make sure you don't get hurt. And I just lean back against the wall and turn it over to Doc Brock.
So I'm wearing like a very professional suit, and I very primly walk around the table and sit down and like take out my file and put it down and open up the file, and I'm just sort of looking at it. I'm gonna let her stew for like a good 5 minutes.
Stewed tomato is what you're saying.
Tomatoes.
Okay. So she's like, so actually we'll put that in the dialogue. So she's like sitting there and, are you trying to get me stewed or what? Come on, ask me a question or send me back to the tank. Stewed tomato. First of all, Jenn gave fan mail to Mark for that setup, and Brendan is giving fan mail to Jenn for the stewed tomato.
Mine for Mark was for the Rice Kid.
Oh, for the Rice Kid. There you go. Nice. All right, cool.
So like I've got the file open. I'm making notes in it, right? Like I'm reading it. I've read it all before. This is all theatrics.
Of course. She's getting real nervous. She's like,
exactly.
We see her fingers like tapping on the table, like the same way Dunk's tapped on his couch when he was trying to resist the coffee.
So I'm like, So tell me how you met Mr. William Birthday.
Senior or junior?
Either.
Oh, you meet a lot of guys in my line of work. They get attached to you. You know how it is.
Actually, I don't. I'm Broccoli.
She shrugs her shoulders and says, "Hey, you never know, honey. There's someone out there with a taste for broccoli."
Anyway, Mr. William Birthday has implicated you in the building of the bomb that blew up the police building.
Oh, that little mess you had out there when they led me through. Oh, yeah, that looks real bad. But I didn't have anything to do with it. So cool. Just like nothing can rattle her except what's in that file.
Right. And like I'll sit there and I'll be like, oh, and I'll start to like pursue stuff that I know was going to go nowhere. It's going to give her tons of confidence. Like, oh, we don't really have anything on her.
Oh yeah, she's
nothing
like,
on her.
These guys are they probably just pulled my name off a marquee and just decided they saw me one time and decided that they would point the finger at me. You know how these criminal types are, right?
Oh sure. Yeah. So tell me, when you were at school, you had a classmate. His name was Benedict. So
like, the red sort of she goes pink because she's not as red anymore. It's pale. She's like, there were a lot of kids in my class at school. She definitely knows Benedict. Definitely. She's looking over at Haggis really nervously, and then looks back to you. I thought this was about Billy Birthday and the bombs.
Well, why don't you tell me about that then? Well, otherwise, we can pursue this other line of conversation. It's up to you.
Well, there's nothing to pursue. I don't know anything about Benedict. I don't think I've seen him in a long time.
Would you like to explain why the remnants of a cereal box were found in your apartment earlier this afternoon?
I don't know. My landlord changed the locks. I'm not sure. Okay, good. This is a good place to build up to the fan mail. So is she gonna roll on Benedict? Sorry, which was the question? Is she gonna roll?
No,
on
I was just saying that in character.
No,
Yeah, she's-
nice.
From behind the one-way mirror.
The question was actually, is she going to confess to assisting with the bombings? Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So I'm going to give it... I'll go ahead and give it 4 that she doesn't confess to the bombing. We'll almost finish up, and then next time if we have a next time, we'll finish up that episode and start a new one. Actually, if you guys are okay, I'll just pretend that my budget is a little lower so that the audience can see what an end of episode looks like.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Totally. Yeah.
That
All
sounds
right,
great.
cool. All right, let's do that. So, yeah, this will be my last one. Does she confess to it or not? It doesn't. We'll work out what happens with the high card as well. So, the two of you are both have your screen presence on there. Any traits or connections that apply here?
Yeah, I'm going to use my highly educated haggis
Perfect.
to say, you're a sick monster. I've never heard of a tomato eating cereal before. Just gobbling it up, right?
That's so
I'm
good.
gonna use my connection to Billy Bagel because he was the one who went over to her apartment while these detectives and stuff were like raiding the suit factory.
Right,
So
so
he's
you've got,
the one
like-
who found the stuff in the place.
Yeah, so like you've got a picture of like we see Billy Bagel's hand like holding up like a piece of evidence in a bag, and like maybe him in profile as they go into the apartment, which is a food version of an evidence dungeon. There's always one in every serial killer show, and any fan mail that anybody wants to spend on either side.
I will use 2.
2.
I will use 2 on the side of the good guys.
Yes, mine are on the good guys.
Cool.
Oh, so these don't matter, right, Jason? Because you already spent your budget, so we're done.
I have spent my budget. Yeah. Well, you would save your fan mail till next episode.
Yeah,
So
but it doesn't
yeah.
matter if they're red or black.
Oh,
To
correct.
your budget, right? All right, cool. I think we're all
correct.
set.
Yep. All right, I've only got 2 and some credit cards to go with them. Credit values, I mean. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Who got that ace?
That's Jen.
All right, Jen. Okay, so she's gonna crack on the bombing, and you also get some additional benefits. So, do you know what that would be?
I think that she's gonna totally give up like an address that she had for Benedict.
For Benedict. Okay, cool. So like she has like her head in her hands, and there's like little bits of tomato juice kind of running down her forehead. She's like, there's no way. He told me not to go back there, but I didn't know what he was gonna do. So she explains, that she just saw Billy Birthday Jr. as kind of a dumb kid that she could soak for protection and money and stoke his revenge fantasies against Dunk so that he would that he would blow up the place just in general because and then she once she kind of starts talking about that, she realizes that that idea sort of came from Benedict. Like, hey, this guy's good at bombs. Why don't you have him blow up the cop shop? And where all of the evidence is being held, of course, you all know, to go after the serial killer. So, and then she, as she begins to realize that she's been used, she starts to curse and slam her fist on the table and says, She claims she didn't know that he was a killer, but she knew something was really wrong about the guy. The only place she ever met him was down in the Egg District, and there's she gives an address, and I think the last shot of the episode is like this big abandoned old 1970s styrofoam egg carton, the kind that you just can't buy anymore because it's all recycled cardboard and plastic and stuff, and the top of it is sort of bowed in, and there's some crows, lined up along the top of it, and the music swells as it sort of pans down to the dark entranceway into this building. Okay, so she gave herself up on the bombing. She gave up an address for Benedict. So now let's talk about the end of episode. So what we do is what's called the next time on. So next time on is something that is kind of just a general brainstorming. It doesn't have to actually happen in the next episode, but something that you would expect or desire to see in the next episode. So that would be episode 4. So if everyone can look at your sheets to see who has the spotlight in episode 4.
That's me.
Okay, Mark, so that makes perfect sense, because going after the serial killer is Haggis's issue. So, Haggis's issue is obsession. So you can kind of get a general idea of what the plot of that episode would be. With next time on, I start and stop. So I go first, and then each of you will just say next time on, and a few sentences that describe a brief vignette for the audience to be like pumped and excited about our next episode. So I'll begin with next time on food court, and we see inside, like we're now inside the egg carton that we just saw, and it's this big cavernous sort of warehouse space, and everyone is wearing like these hazmat masks, and like there's flashlights kind of going around inside the space, and there's like garish pieces of cereal boxes sort of taped to the walls, and we see Eclair like standing at the entrance and shaking her head, and she says, "I've never seen anything like this." All right, so Brendan, next time on food court.
An investigation in a dark part of the egg carton, and suddenly there's just a red dot that moves up Haggis's body, and then there's just a little pop, and juices start pouring out.
Oh, I want to see this episode so bad. Mark, next time on food court.
Next time on food court, we have Haggis and Broccoli are arguing in the in the lab again, right? And Broccoli's like, last time you went, and Haggis pulls out her gun and she says, "This'll be the last time for him or me," right? And then she runs out, right?
Flawless. I love it. Okay, Jen, next time on food court.
Yeah, so we're at the board, and we have like all the evidence, right? Like, or we have pictures of, the walls and all the things that the serial killer had up there, right? Like all the cereal boxes and pictures of victims and like the whole web, right? And then the shot pulls out, and we see a janitor pushing a mop, and he's oddly egg-shaped.
Nice. Okay, I love it. Dunk.
All right.
Next time on
food court. We pan down on a bridge not far from the egg district. And Dunk is over the side of the bridge with one of his arms, and hanging on for dear life on the other end of his hand is Dr. Beverly Broccoli, hanging over the swirling waters below. And he says, "Beverly, hold on! Oh, God, I'm getting too old for this shit."
Oh, that's so good. That's good. Okay, and then back to me for the final next time on. It's we see like obviously after the last scene, and everyone is like, we see Haggis has like a huge bandage, and something has happened to Quinoa and got like an arm and a sling. Broccoli and Dunk are like smeared with like asphalt and gravel, and they're kind of banged up, and they're all just sort of sitting in the cop shop. And strolling in with a little straw boater cocked over his head is an egg. And he puts his hands up and he says, "I understand you're looking for me." And it's definitely, as suggested by Mark, voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch. So definitely, that's definitely who is our star voice actor for next time. So great, that was an excellent episode, you guys. I had a blast.
Yay! That was awesome.
Awesome, wonderful.
Cool.
Who'd have thought we could go to that well twice?
We could do it, we could do this whole season. We could do the whole season. That's what's great about this game, is like the way the issues are set up like. I mean, I knew what scene would be coming next after the tomato confessed, which is we go back to Dunk and do something with his addiction again, right? Because in television, that's what would happen. We all know all of these rhythms because we've all seen television shows and know how they work. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jason, for running that.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, that was awesome. And
You guys are all great.
yeah, and thank you, Mark and Jenn and Mick, for playing. They were wonderful and awesome and amazing. And thank you, Brandon. You're welcome, Brandon.
Right back at you.
You guys are all great.
Thank you to anybody watching. If you like this, like I said at the very beginning, please watch the episode 1. There's lots of great stuff there, including the full invention of how we got to this wonderful pun-filled, soul-crushing world. If you want to see more awesome stuff that Indie Plus does, please subscribe by clicking the button down in that corner. We do lots of cool stuff. We play other games. We do other exhibition games. We do panels. We do all kinds of cool things, and you'll be informed of them as they come out because that is the nature of a subscription on YouTube. Yeah. Again, thank you everybody very much for being here. Thank you everybody who watched. Have a good night.